Hey guys, Chase here. I know I'm a day late posting my weekly video, and I'm sorry, life happens and I just didn't have the energy or the focus to do it earlier. Also, I'm deviating from my planned list of science and lore and writing topics in this week's video because I was struck with an idea like lightning and I have to share it with you. I might have solved the Fermi paradox. If you don't remember the Fermi paradox, some of my older videos touch on the subject, and to me, personally, it's a big, important question. It's one of the reasons I started writing. I encourage those of you who don't know what it is to go look at my earlier videos, but for discussion's sake, I'll give a brief definition here too. In short, the Fermi paradox is, where are the aliens? Which, at face value, can seem to be a benign, simple question and not a paradox at all, but let me elaborate. Let me put it this way. The Milky Way galaxy is old. The Milky Way galaxy is how old? The Milky Way galaxy has how many stars in it? Each of those stars has how many planets orbiting it? Hey, post-production Chase here. The answers to those questions, both for myself and the audience, just so that we're more clearly defined and have a better picture of the situation. The Milky Way is estimated to be between 13.5 and 14 billion years old, and it's estimated to contain between 100 and 400 billion stars, and each of those stars is liable to have planets orbiting it. We've discovered thousands of confirmed and thousands more suspected exoplanets. So that's a lot of space and time that we're talking about. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled sci-fi rant. And those planets and stars have had the entire lifespan of the galaxy to rise and fall, to be created and destroyed. And there are going to be countless stars and planets that no longer exist because they've already been made and destroyed, and even more that have been made more recently, but they're far enough away from us that their light hasn't reached us yet. We can't see them. An example, if a gas giant somewhere, say 1,500 light years from Earth, gains a little mass and becomes dense enough and crosses the line from gas giant planet to glowing dwarf star, and it reaches, its reaction starts, and now it's making light. It's going to take 1,500 years for that light to reach Earth. It's entirely possible that the star formed 1,000 years ago, and in the next century humanity nukes itself back to the Stone Age, and in a couple hundred years after that, when that light, the detectable light, reaches us from that new star, there won't be anyone here left to see it. And that time delay is an important part of the paradox. There's so many stars and so many planets, and these planets have existed for so long, and new ones are being made, and old ones are dying all the time. So there's plenty more that have risen and fallen in that time that humanity will never bear witness to. All kinds of weird space phenomena I'm sure we've missed and might possibly never see again, since we're obviously not here during the formation of the galaxy. Anyway, with all these things, over so long a period of time that, statistically speaking, how has any of these stars and planets not given rise to other life, and other intelligent life, spacefaring life? Therein lies the paradox. There's so much out there, and it's been there for so long. How has it not given rise to life? Why haven't we seen it? Why isn't there a busy, thriving galactic community or empire or some kind of alien thing out there ready to welcome or subjugate or destroy us? Because if it exists, there's no way to hide it from us. Unless humanity really doesn't know our physics, the best way to communicate over long distances is with radio signals, and those signals will be drifting in space for eternity. Humanity's been using radios for over a century, and we've been transmitting radios in space since Sputnik was launched in October of 1957. That's more than 60 years ago, and those radio signals have been traveling in space ever since. So every star within a 60 light year diameter sphere of Earth has heard those radio signals. The same applies in the other direction. Billions of stars over billions of years with billions of planets, and we haven't heard any radio signals. Silence. So again I ask, where are the aliens? The statistical improbability that humans, us here on Earth, are the only radio-using life forms in such a big place from such a massive span of time is so infinitesimally small, and yet thus far appears that this is the case. And thus, therein lies the paradox. I think I have a solution for this paradox. I'm sure a bigger mind than mine has discussed this before, but I came to this conclusion on my own. I haven't heard anyone else anywhere else discuss it. I'm proud of it, and maybe I'm the first. It's the first to me. I propose the Fermi paradox is not a paradox, and that there are no aliens. There is no spacefaring galactic empire out there because of solar flares. Now, before you dismiss me as some Fed boy or a tinfoil-wearing hat conspiracy theorist, like some sort of short-haired Weird Al Yankovic, let me give you a little history lesson. Let me briefly introduce you to what is known as the Carrington Event, which occurred in September of 1859. The Carrington Event was a powerful solar flare, and when it occurred, our sun generated so much electromagnetic energy that it played havoc with the electronics all over the planet for something like 4 to 6 hours. Now let that sink in. A big solar flare messed with all the electronics in 1859. They didn't have much in the way of electronics in 1859. Even so, there's stories, literally the world over, of people who used telegram. You remember those? You sat at the desk, little key or a button, and you typed it out, Morse code, ... Yeah, those guys. The electronic field was so strong that some of them were able to run their keys and continue transmitting without the wires hooked up to power their keys. And still others were so affected that the little paper strip that the dots and dashes were printed on caught fire. There was so much electromagnetic radiation from the sun that the telegraph paper caught fire. And that's what happened to all the electronics 160 years ago. I recently read something about solar flares that were detected on a different star, not our sun. And that made me realize the obvious. All stars are going to have that. They're all going to make solar flares and electromagnetic energy, and that they occur more than once, and there will be more solar flares in the future. There will be more electromagnetic energy of sufficient magnetic magnitude to disrupt or destroy electronic equipment. Now, back to the Carrington Event. If something of that magnitude or greater were to happen again, imagine the mayhem if the power is out for 6 hours. Planes will fall from the sky, submarines sink beyond crush depth, people with pacemakers will just keel over, satellites drift out of orbit and burn up in the atmosphere, reactors scram or melt down, cars won't start, computers don't turn on, Twitter's gone, Facebook is gone, your bank is gone, Wikipedia is gone, all of your non-physical money no longer exists, cryptocurrency, NFTs, everything gone, transformers melt down and explode, and if we're unlucky, none of that ever comes back. Think about it. Tomorrow your alarm goes off, you walk down the hall to the kitchen and the lights go out, the coffee machine doesn't turn on, your car won't start, and there's no lights. The flashlight is dead. Everything's gone. The internet is gone. All that knowledge, information, technology, everything, everywhere is gone, instantly, forever. Where's humanity going to go without electricity? What are we going to be without electricity? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the end is near. I'm not some end-of-the-world doom-mongering fatalist. The end might be near. It might never come. We don't know. That's the scary part. My point is, and my proposed solution to the Fermi paradox is, that these solar flares and electromagnetic storms occur in sufficient magnitude and frequency that no planet, no civilization, or intelligent life can exist for significant enough time spans that they can develop sufficient technology and infrastructure to get off their planet. And just getting off of their planet isn't enough. You have to get out of the solar system and around another star, and hope that one doesn't burn you either. You have to be in multiple solar systems simultaneously. But if the burst of energy occurs often enough that you never develop sufficiently so as to get off-world and out of the solar system before their star sets you back to the Stone Age, which, yes, by extension, is discussing that possibility for us, not just for aliens. But that's not the point of this video. The point is, that's why there's no aliens. That's why there's no galactic empires of green men coming down from space to probe our orifices. And if that's true, then we know what it is and we can start working on solving this problem. But that's a different topic for a different time. I am just here to remind you, everyone, what the Fermi paradox is, so that I can tell you I think I solved it. That this proposition about solar flares and electromagnetic energy preventing more than 150 to 200 years of continuous growth in electronic-powered systems, technologies, vehicles, blah, blah, blah. Therefore, planets, any intelligent life from sufficiently developing, or this prevents, any intelligent life from sufficiently developing to get off their home world and home systems before getting knocked down again. And then that we are currently experiencing the zenith or near the zenith of technology before our sun kicks us back to the 1700s. And those solar flares are why we don't have a galactic environment like there is in Star Wars or Star Trek or Mass Effect here that I've been playing in the background with multiple races and species of intelligent life like you can see. I've had the Asari and the Quarian here helping me board this derelict spaceship. Now, my book series, The Descendant Saga, also tackles the Fermi paradox, but it's a very different answer, and perhaps solution is a better word. It has a different solution than what I just hypothesized. The first book in the series, The Descendant, is available on Amazon. The link will be down in the video description. And the second book is coming soon, while I continue to make weekly blog posts and YouTube videos. If you like books, science fiction, history, or other thought-provoking stories and ideas, this is the place for you. Please share, comment, like, subscribe, whatever, to drive the algorithm so that you and people like you can find more of my interesting content and book stuff in the future. And thanks for stopping by. I'll see you out there.